Hey, YouTube, Repo Man 64. I want you to notice what's been going on as I'm watching all of the videos of all the watchers that their strong point is making these kind of videos. And that is what I'm seeing, that they are looking at any moment now. It used to be, oh, next week, in 2 days from now, oh, this event's coming up. And we watched through all that, through all the whole year of last year. We watched for all of that. I'm going to show you a 6-month mistake that I think that we've made, and I showed it to you in my last video a little bit. I want to go back over it. But the common thread that I'm seeing from all of the watchmen at this point is it could happen any second. And I'm on the same page. I'm on the same page with all of them. This could literally happen any second. I believe it must happen before March 16th, March 17th. There's a passage in the Bible that says, pray your flight not be on the Sabbath or in winter, or the last day of winter, and the final Sabbath, and I'm going to show you that, is March 16th. And I'm going to show you again that when God told Moses to change the head of the year from where it was, and that was September, let me find it, September the 15th, it was called Rosh Hashanah. It had several names: Feast of Trumpets, Rosh Hashanah. Then you'll find in Exodus 12 where God says, change the head of the year. Now, if he had gone forward 6 months, Satan would have screamed about taking 6 months away from him. No, we had to repeat that 6 months. As a matter of fact, in the Bible, you will never find a case where God went forward in time. Every single case you find in the Bible, he went backwards. He went back, was it 2 degrees or 1 degree on the sundial? He went back, or held the sun still, it says, but he went back in time, and that day existed for 48 hours so that, and I'll show you in here, Joshua could win a war. So, again, what's happening now is, I think what we're seeing is, oops, the 6 months we forgot about or didn't pay attention to is basically repeating itself. And if you overlay the first 6 months and the second 6 months over each other, they're almost identical. There was a time where God said to Moses, and this now is the head of your year, and I believe that that is March 17th. March 16th being the last day of the year, the final Sabbath. And if you overlay it, it all fits nicely on top of each other, and I'll show you that as well. The fourth star of Pegasus skirts along the horizon 2 days a year. That happens on March 16th, the last Sabbath, and it happens again if you do the math on 182 days divided by 7. You wind up again on September the 15th, formerly known as Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah moved to March the 17th, the head of the year. So I'm going to show you that right now. We're going to start here in Enoch. March 16th. Well, this is a comment in Enoch that I found online that, again, I've been trying to search this out for over 2 years. 2 years ago, God put on my heart that it was very important for us to know the head of the year. If we did not, we would go wrong in every single feast day throughout the year. We know now more than ever. We've learned so much over the last 2 years about where and why these feast days exist. I don't think anybody who's been watching, who is very interested in this subject, hasn't learned so much about the Pentecost and Tisha B'Av and Tu B'Av and Rosh Hashanah and the movement of Rosh Hashanah to the head of the year, Yom Kippur, Tabernacles, all these things. So this is a comment made. March 16th is the last day of the year, the 364th day. Remember, the long day happens. It's technically 1 day that we count, but it's 364 days. Now, if you it's a whole other subject. Let me get rid of that there. It's a whole other subject about where the Earth faces. Aside real day, the Earth does not face the sun in the same exact position, but it does spin because of its rotation. Um, it does spend 364 days actually, but the extra day is positioning the Earth back to where it began the previous year. That's why there's the extra day. March 16th is the last day of the year, the 364th day, and is the day of equal night and day in Jerusalem. You can look that up. I'll show it to you here in a minute. This is a day of equal parts. With the sunrise and sunset times occurring at 5:48 and solar noon occurring at 11:48 a.m. March 16th is the seventh day Sabbath. I've had a lot of comments, and there are a lot of people who, and rightfully so, the Bible clearly says we obey every one of the 10 Commandments. I showed you that in the last video. And the one that I not say disobey, the one that we didn't fully understand. I fully understand the Sabbath now. It is a sign. He repeats it, I think, 26 times in the Bible, to obey the Sabbath and keep it holy, and it will be a sign unto you. And this sign is the sign that is created when the fourth star of Pegasus skirts along the horizon. And that is how you know that is the Sabbath. That sets up the Sabbath. So people are like, it's not on Saturday? We don't count every... No. Your first Sabbath is on March 16th. 7 days later is your next Sabbath. 7 days later is your next Sabbath. And so on and so forth throughout the year. And it will always land on March 16th, and it will always land on September the 15th. But our Gregorian calendar moves one day each year, so there is no way to count your Sabbath on the Gregorian calendar. When I believe that what I believe God meant by that is to pay attention to your Sabbath, is if you're paying attention to your Sabbath, you will know where all of His feast days are, where all of His celebrations are. Everything that happened in the Bible laid out exactly perfectly. So every single year, March 16th is the last Sabbath, and March 17th is New Year's Day. God told Moses in Exodus 12, this now will be the head of your year. We know that because the fourth star of Algenum skirts along the horizon. That's what they were looking at. They weren't looking at a sliver of the moon and moving the dates around every single year based on the moon. It literally takes, I could actually look up the picture. I think it's 19 moon cycles before it actually falls back into place where it originally started. I don't know if I can find that or not. Is that here? Amazingly, this is exactly what we see on March 16th as being the last Sabbath and 17th being the New Year. The 19th moon, every 19 moon cycles, this is exactly what happens. So, so people who are like believing that you're supposed to obey the Sabbath every seventh day, your Sabbath might land on a Wednesday one year, it might land on a Thursday another year, it might land on a Monday another year. It depends on where, because they're not counting that one long day. The Gregorian didn't count that one long day, and so therefore, if they had, the Sabbath would always land on Wednesday, March 16th. Ironically, last year for 2022, the Sabbath, in fact, did land on a Wednesday. Wednesday being the day God created time. Notice that He created all of these things, but then on Wednesday, it wasn't Wednesday, it was the fourth day, He created something in heaven, and I'm going to show you that too. What did He create to establish time and assign to us? Just like He references in the Bible so many times that the Sabbath will be a sign unto you. This is the sign that we've discovered, or I've discovered, as being the final Sabbath of the year, being March 16th. That's the sign. It's not stopping every seventh day and keeping it holy. He's talking about the sign He gave us as to when all of this stuff is going to go down. Again, we all, the bride who are watching and trying to figure this out, almost always, and I'm guilty of it too, try to relate every event in the Bible to our rapture and catching away. However, I believe that a lot of these dates that we're coming up with that are jumbling around, we're accidentally finding the date that the millennium will start. We're finding the date that the 3.5 year period where Satan will go in and sit in the temple and proclaim himself to be God. We're finding all these dates, and they are all accurate. We just can't assign an event. Which event is it? We know that the rapture of the bride happens. Every single person who professes that Jesus is God and that he came here to die for our sins, and that don't come and compare themselves, oh, I'm better than that Christian, so I know I'm going. I donated all this money, so I know I'm going. Those are works Christians. They will not be raptured. They come with filthy rags, and I get a lot of comments about this. Partial rapture is not a partial rapture. God is taking every single person that has put all of their trust in him. I am not going to heaven, period, based on anything I've done. I am going to heaven solely because I am covered. And when God sees me, he's not going to see my wretched life. He is going to see his son, Jesus, because I will be covered. And that's the only thing I have. I have nothing else in the universe to offer except what Jesus gave to me. So I am covered. There are a lot of people who do not accept this. You'll see them. There's billions of them. People who have done works, who are so secure that, I mean, they had a Facebook thing where some guy was dancing on the stage saying, I'm not going to hell. I think we've all seen that, and just like, you just, flabbergasted by this, type of stuff. So let me go through the pictures. I don't want to make this video too long. So this is why, in the research I did over the last 2 years trying to find the head of the year, I felt like it was just wrong in my spirit that it just jumped around every time we felt like it, and it just didn't feel right. So that's when I found that this is the Joshua's long day. Now they're assigning it to March 14th and 15th. I run into a numbers problem sometime after September. And December 25th, there's a variance I keep running into that I can't explain. It's a day off all the time. Very hard to make it match. And so I do believe that Joshua's long day is somewhere between Christmas and March 16th. I don't know exactly. At some point in that 3-month period is when this took place. They're assigning it to March 15th, 14th, 15th, and that's fine. All right. This is where God spoke to Moses, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So he moves it. He doesn't just randomly move it to whatever month he feels like it. He moves it to that star of Algenib that skirts along the horizon. In March, it is rising, and in September it is setting, but it skirts right along the horizon. You can only see this in Jerusalem. That's why you have the two witnesses out there looking for that star each year, to know that they're on the right date, to see that they didn't make a mistake, a calculational error, and they get to do it again in September the 14th. Notice that from the Revelation 12 sign, which is a very big sign, from the Revelation 12 sign to March 16th, it is 2,000 days, 5 years, 5 months, and 21 days, 7 times 3. So it's very prophetic, and it's very odd that it actually lands up on the date. It could have been 2,003 days. It could have been 1,980 days, but no, it lands exactly 2 days. And God said, Jesus said, and after 2 days, I will return. Now, I'm not saying that he's returning on March 16th. I have a working idea, and I'm trying to study it, that we're going to go at some point, and the saints of the tribulation, just like Elisha and Elijah. Elisha goes, Elisha drops to his knees, tears off his clothes, and cries out. And what happens at this moment, and how long do you think it will take the people, when they see the rapture occur, he said, Elisha told Elisha, if you see me go, you will receive a double portion. And that's exactly what happened. He saw Elisha go. He drops to his knees. He tears off his clothes. You can read it right in the Bible. And he put on the mantle that was sent down to him from Elijah, received a double portion. He smote the water, walked across. Elisha took how many seconds after the rapture to recognize that he was not included as a bride, but he was given a double portion. He is a saint of the tribulation. I'm not fully convinced that it's going to be 3.5 years, because I know God is going to turn his attention back to Israel for those 7 years. So we keep going. And God said, let there be light. This is where I want to show you the sign that is given. It's very clear to me. I don't see how it can be read any other way. It says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven. What are these lights? Are they the sun, moon, and stars? I don't think so. I think these are the constellations that he set up. And these constellations, just like the 4-star Pegasus skirting along the horizon, will be for signs and seasons and for days and for years. That constellation has skirted along the horizon since the dawn of time and will until the end of the millennium. The day has not changed whatsoever in the last 4,000 or 6,000 years. So let's read it. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them, I think he's talking about the constellations, be for the lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Done. He's done. He's done something here. He's not done with what he's doing on the 4th day, but he has done something at this moment in time that will be for seasons, days, and years, and a sign unto us. And remember what the Bible says, that the Sabbath was put there as a sign between me and you. And we're just now discovering this. But then he continues. Let's see what else he made. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. Well, now he's talking about the sun and the moon. He is not saying that these 2 things have anything to do with seasons, days, years, or signs. He made the stars also. Now, wait a second. The constellations are made out of stars, but he made other stars, our vast universe, to the very end of the universe. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw it was good, and the evening and the morning were the 4th day. On the 4th day he created time. Notice that there are no animals that breathe air that were created before this time. All animals were created after time was created, because we cannot exist outside of time. Now he creates, you'll notice on the 5th day, the fish and the birds. Those things could not have existed without time. And so we have, as we read very clearly, something that was created for signs, seasons, and for days. And he makes certain down below to note that he created also stars. So there are other stars that are created. I think what was created right here was constellations. That keeps happening still, not as often as it was, but it still keeps happening. And the letters were sent by, I did this backwards. I have to read this first. Ezra was taken unto the king Ahasuerus into his house, royal, in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year. Remember that. The 10th month and the 7th year. 5 years later, plus 2 months, or at some point, who knows what time, what date it was in the 10th month. What they don't doesn't tell us exactly what day in the 10th month, but in the 10th month in the 7th year of his reign. Now here's something happens, and the letters were sent by post into all the king's province to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month. This is now known as Purim, because it was stopped by his bride, Esther. Esther stops this event from taking place. As a matter of fact, it backfires, if I recall. But notice the time. The time. I believe Eco Symphony had a video on this as well. And I watched so many videos. I believe it was Eco Symphony. So we have the 13th day of the 12th month. So now we have exactly. It says, which is the month of Darts explodes. So now we have the 12th month and the 13th day, which is Purim, and back here we have just the 10th month. Now notice from the head of the year, March 17th, Happy New Year's Day, to February 28th, which is Purim. That is Adar 14. The day after. That's why I'm saying there's this day glitch that happens at some point, and I know it has something to do with that one long day, but it is Purim is exactly 30 days before Passover, which is February the 28th, the next day being the 1st and the 30th being Passover. Every single year, never changes. Every single year on March the 30th. Purim will always fall on February the 28th. So we have 11 months and 11 days exactly from the head of the year. Head of the year being March 17th. Happy New Year's, that's Rosh Hashanah. I wanted to take a moment and show you in 2023, on March the 16th, you will have 12 hours in the day. It bumps around a little bit, but it happens on March the 16th. Just before, on March the 17th is after midnight, so it wouldn't be there. It'd be back on March the 16th. Let's go forward 600 years. This is as far as time and date will allow me to go. 600 years from right now, the day of equal parts will fall on March the 16th. From creation until the end of the millennium, it will always be March 16th, a day of equal parts. This is the day that the fourth star of Algenib, of Pegasus, named Algenib, skirts along the horizon. It always will in the year 2600. The day of equal parts. This is the day that Jesus said, are there not 12 hours in the day, in relation to talking about Lazarus? This is the day Lazarus died. I went back as far as 1800. I could go further back, but remember those 10 days that the church decided to remove from the calendar so that they could cause the spring equinox to happen on March the 21st. They still got the date wrong. It's not March the 21st. It's March the 16th. So they were off even though they did that. So any further back than this, you're going to see this day of equal parts land on the 6th because of those 10 days. But again, you go back 200 years and the day of equal parts is still on March the 6th. Now, from the Revelation 12 sign to Purim, it is exactly 5 years, 5 months, and 5 days. Is that when grace runs out on Purim? 30 days. A man on a long journey could, from Purim until March the 16th, or even the cross on March the 30th, could that be how long it takes for God to bring in the saints who are just like Elisha and tear off this world finally, once and for all, and just rely on Jesus 100%? I don't know. Let's go into this real quick. You see back here on the upper left, the fourth star of named Algenib. This is the last Sabbath. So if you were counting your Sabbaths or attempting to, I don't, but if you did, you would show that March the 16th would be the last Sabbath, and it is a Wednesday, a day that God created time. I know God created everything in 7 days, and it's a bit confusing to understand. And God rested on the seventh day, which is Saturday. But this is when he created time. So this is the last Sabbath of every year. This is the day that Lazarus dies. I want you to notice something here real quick. From the time of the new, oh, that messed me up. From the time of the new year, which is March the 17th, until Jesus goes to the cross, it is exactly 14 days, because Nisan 14 is the day that Jesus went to the cross. So we take a trip down here. I saw this earlier today. I was like, what? From the Festival of Trees, February the 14th, to Purim, it is 14 days. I thought was pretty cool. We have two events showing 11/11. We keep seeing 11/11 all the time. Shavat is the 11th month, and on the 11th day of that month, which is January the 24th, it is exactly 11/11. Is this the day on January the 24th that we will be taken out of here? I don't know. Purim, from the head of the year, March 17th, until Purim, it is exactly 11 months and 11 days. Is that the day? The trees, a lot of people are speaking about the trees, the Festival of Trees. February the 14th. We all know what February the 14th is. Is that the day? I don't know. We are right now coming up on tomorrow, January the 14th. I don't have anything on that date, but I put it on there because it was Shavat 1, which is 11/1. So I thought that was pretty cool. I had noticed another relation of 14 days. Let me see, where was it? So September the 15th, over here on the left, you see Tishri 1. This is now the Feast of Trumpets. It is no longer Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah was moved by God. Nobody obeyed it, but it was moved in Exodus 12 to March the 17th. That's the new Rosh Hashanah. So now, March the 17th actually has a name. It did not have a name previous, and that's why it was a much ignored time of the year. Nobody knew this was New Year's Day. Nobody knew that this is Rosh Hashanah, that the date moved exactly back from September the 15th, 182 days to the very day as the new Rosh Hashanah on March the 17th. So September the 15th was Noah's New Year, but Moses' New Year now is March the 17th. It was changed by God to March the 17th. This is also the day that Noah removes the covering from the ark. Now, if you count 14 days ahead from the head of the year, remember that March the 17th is the head of the year. 14 days after that, Jesus is on the cross. He comes into this world on the 14th day of the year, and he leaves this world on the 14th day of the year. 14 days after September the 15th, Jesus Christ is born on tabernacles. Sukkot, he comes to tabernacle with us, and this happens every single year on September the 29th. It does not move. It doesn't jumble around with any other thing. It is as constant as this 4-star of Algenib skirting along the horizon from the beginning of time until the end of time. And that happens 14 days after the head of the year, as Moses had recognized it until God changed the law. Even Jesus, knowing this fact that they would not obey and change the head of the year, he still 14 days later comes into this world as a baby. Now I got another piece of information I just learned. I didn't know this, but there's a what do they call it, a conception comet that flies through perfect timing, flies through right as Jupiter enters the womb and retrogrades in the womb of that constellation for 9 months. There is a comet that flies through exactly 9 months earlier, which is pretty incredible. We went over this. Kaduri knows somehow in 1979, he knows somehow that there's going to be a quarrel and that nobody's going to win in Israel, and that on Rosh Hashanah, heaven will decide. Remember, they're still calling Rosh Hashanah as September the 15th, and we know that this decision was made in heaven for us, and Netanyahu won. And we also learned a valuable lesson that even though Netanyahu had won several times previous, he could not form his Knesset. Therefore, it was not a real government. The same thing in 1948, May 14th. They did declare Israel a nation, but the Knesset was not formed until January. And I don't recall the date. I want to say it was the 25th or the 24th. I don't recall exactly, but at some point in January 1949, it was formed. So God has shown us, and this is why this happened in Israel, to show us this government, even if it's formed, it's not a government, not until the Knesset is formed. So I believe we were supposed to have been counting from January of 1949 all along, but we chose what the newspaper said, that it happened in 1948. Now, Shoshani, again, remember, Kaduri has professed that Jesus Christ is the Christ that came here. He is a Christian, and there must have been some kind of celebration. He died when he was 108 years old. 108. And he professed in a letter that he wrote to his students that they opened up 1 year later that Jesus was the Messiah. So Shoshani has not done that. But it doesn't matter. God still uses everyone for his purpose. So there will come a day that two ministers win the government. So he knows about this in the land of Israel, that both of their names will be Benjamin. Wow, how did he know that? And of them will succeed neither of them will succeed in establishing their government. He knew that. On that day, when that time happens, in those days, we know that King Messiah already stands at the doorway on the Sabbath after. What is the Sabbath after? It is March the 16th. This prophecy is still good, because on the Sabbath after, which just happened, like just now, he just formed his Knesset, I think in January, the Sabbath after is not the following Saturday. That's literally not true. The Sabbath after is going to be March the 16th. Now let's go down here to Kisma. This is the prophecy of Kisma. You've all seen this before. So he answered, I'm going to go down to the middle. So he answered them, when this gate falls down, is rebuilt, falls again, and is again rebuilt, and then falls a third time before it can be rebuilt, the son of David will come. And he says Sanhedrin. His name is Rabbi Jose ben Kisma. His prophecy, in our minds, is wrong, but this is not true. Enoch calls each of the 12 constellations gates. The only gate, the fourth gate, is the gate that expresses the head of the year, which is in March. And I want to show you that. This prophecy from Kisma is still valid. He is not talking about the government in Israel falling down, because quite frankly, the government has actually fallen more than 3 times, and it has now been built, and it says the son of David will come before it can be rebuilt. Well, it's been built. It's been done. But it says the Sabbath after. He's not talking about the government in Israel. He is talking about the gates, and I'm going to show you that right here. You will find this in Enoch. In this way it rises in the first month, March. In the large gate, that's the Pisces constellation. Namely, it rises through the fourth of those 6 gates that are towards the east. And in that fourth gate, now before this fourth gate can be built, it is being built right now. This fourth gate is built. The fifth gate comes. As soon as the fourth gate is built, the fifth gate comes on March the 17th. This is the fourth gate that is currently being built. In that fourth gate, through which the sun rises in the first month, there are 12 window openings. These are the 12 constellations from which, whenever they are open, flames come out. Now he's talking about the constellations right there. So he calls each constellation a gate, and Kisma said, before the fourth gate is built. It's not built yet. It's not built until March the 16th. That gate is completely done on March the 16th, and it goes to the fifth gate. This is the fourth star of Pegasus. The name of it is Algenib. I've showed you this many times. I got this off the internet. There are a lot of people that know about this. I don't know any of them that have actually applied this to an annual timeline like this, but they discovered the head of the year. The head of the year is March 16th every year, every single year. It is also 6 months in. It used to be the head of the year. This is the last day of the year, the last day. This is the final Sabbath. The next Sabbath, to realign your time so that you don't mess up, because you don't want to be going into that temple with a rope tied around your waist on the wrong day, because the Bible is very clear about that. They forgot their way. They went in there on the wrong day, and they started dying. Same thing here. September the 14th is the last Sabbath of that 6-month period. March the 16th is the last Sabbath. September the 14th is the last Sabbath of that 6-month period. The head of the year, March 17th, because God moved it. It used to be September the 15th, but now is March the 17th. Okay, give a shout out to some people. Again, I give a shout out because just watching their videos, and I say, hey, that's very interesting. So go into these guys and watch their latest video, because I thought they did a really good job. Of course, Ikra Symphony. I'm watching her video here, and she's really good at math. She does a lot of interesting math, and she comes to very close to my dates using other. And I think that's important that everybody go about the way they're doing it. And I find it that just like the moon lining up every 19 years, eventually we're all going to be on the same page. And I know that a lot of people are looking at this time around January the 24th, 25th. Ricardo Garcia, he's had quite a headache going on in his country. He's from Brazil, and there was an election over there, and what a mess that's been going on over there. I pray for him. He's gone through quite a bit over there, and they're protesting and everything else, what's going on over there. But he does some incredible work trying to figure this out. I love his zeal for how he's searching this out. The Bible architecture, you've seen him before, I believe. Dr. Barry actually promoted his channel. His channel is growing nicely, and I like the way he teaches. Okay, this is the last bit of what I have to show you that we are actually in it now. I'm not saying this rapture is going to be on March the 16th. I'm saying it could happen at any second now. There is nothing stopping it from happening right now. I think it must happen before that fourth gate is built on March the 16th. I really think it's got to happen before that. March 17th, the fifth gate begins and the fourth gate is built. I don't think it's going to go beyond that. So it could happen at any moment right now. And what's happening right now is separating the sheep from the wolves right now. Those that are truly inspired by all of this and trying to figure it out. It's super important. 6,000 years, right? 5783 is what we're saying it is, but it is not. God went back 6 months. It will not be 5783 until March the 17th. We all know about the 210 lost years where Israel was in captivity. They miscounted by 210 years. which brings us to 5993. Minus those 6 months, it will not become 5993 or 5783 as they're counting it today. It will not become that until March the 17th on the new Rosh Hashanah that has been changed from September to March. So it is still 5782. I just showed you the three prophets, Kaduri, Shoshani, and Kisma, and how they line up with all of theirs. And so far, I can't find anything wrong with their prophecies. So far, their prophecies have come very true. Kisma being the last one, and I believe the gate he's talking about has nothing to do with the government in Israel. I think the first two did, but I don't think this one does. I think this has to do with the gate that's being built in heaven each month. So we believe that Jesus went to the cross. I don't want to get into a big hullabaloo about this, on March the 30th. March the 30th I'm pretty firm on, but I don't know what year. I think it was 30 AD, maybe 29, maybe 33, I don't know, but it's 2,000 years. If it's 2,000 years and it is 30 AD, it'd be 2030 minus 7 years, 2023. It's all pointing to our time now. It was Dr. Berry that commented on that the Concepcion comment. I was flabbergasted by it. That was amazing. I went and looked at it, and it happened 6 years ago, the number of man, when this comet went through. So we have, there it is, May 14th, 1948, but the Knesset was not formed until January 25th, 1949, and 2029 minus 7 again will be 2023. So, well, and again, I wanted to make a comment. Somebody keeps asking me, is this year 2022? No, our year changed. We count our years from Christ. Christians count, the Gregorian calendar was used to count from Christ. Previous to Christ, they counted from creation. The Jews count from creation. We count from Christ. That's what the difference is. This is definitely the year 2023 right now. It does not move back 6 months on the Gregorian calendar. It does on the count from creation. All right. Did I do all that? Yeah. Now, the Revelation 12 sign, moon under her feet, September 23rd, 2017. He was born on September the 29th, which is 6 days later. You have the conception common in November of 2016, and Jesus conceived on December the 25th. So you have, it looks like it's conception. The Jupiter went in there at 9 months earlier from September. In September the 23rd, 2017 is when it came out. I already did that. The Earth magnetic pole is moving. It has been moving for the last 120 years. Just like God gave Noah 120 years to warn everybody, Lamech died 5 years previous to the flood, and that's the year that Noah began building the boat. He began building the boat 5 years before the flood and completed the boat and went and was ordered by God to go sit in the door and wait. And everybody had an opportunity to come in. Nobody wanted to come into that boat until it started raining. That's when they decided, but God had shut the door 7 days later. So, how long did it rain? 40 days and 40 nights. What happens when we reach the 40-degree mark of this magnetic pole shift? It flips. It shifts to the other side of the planet. So we have another instance showing us that this literally could happen at any. I think this might be the indicator that this is going to happen. Again, Agenda 2030 minus 7 years, 2023. Then there's this prophecy somebody did about the Pope. The new Pope's name or something, and that was gonna usher in. So there's so many things that we see with the price of things that are going on, and the threat of nuclear war, and all this stuff that's happening. All the stuff that they did, the horrible things that they did, just evil things, and it's all coming to fruition right now. And we're in it. We're in it. Like I said, this event could happen at any moment. I'm just listening for the trumpet blast. I don't want, and the common theme I'm seeing is I'm not telling you it's going to happen on March the 16th. I'm telling you it's going to happen any second now. And this is a quiet moment. This is where I guess we all kind of fall asleep. All 10 of us just fall asleep. You know what I mean? The 10 brides um, fall asleep. So, are you going to have oil? You keep watching. Don't let them steal your crown. Keep watching because this is coming soon. This is coming soon to a planet near you. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Remember, there is not much time left. If I could convince just one of you to go to a quiet place, tear it all off, just like Alicia did, just tear it all off. There's nothing. You only have the covering that Jacob put on to take the blessing from Enoch, from his brother Esau. You only have that covering, and that covering is the covering of Jesus, and that's all you have. That's all you need. That's more than you will ever need. No works, no money, no nothing. The reason we do these works and worry about this as much as we do and warn you as often as we do is I don't make a penny off this, never have. I'm a one-man show. That's why you see them on my phone. I work on this and I make videos to edify and to give you encouragement towards that moment that's about to happen. And if just one of you does go to that quiet place and by yourself, and nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody, and just accept the Lord in your heart, just you, man, just nothing else, just you. And just one of you does that, then it's all been worth it. It literally has all been worth it. All the hours and all the studying and everything. And I'm really grateful for it. Don't think that this was a chore. This was not a chore. I've learned so much. I've learned so much from all these wonderful YouTube people that are putting out videos. I couldn't be more grateful for the intimacy in the Word of God that I have found through all of this, and how it's so beautiful how it just falls into place and it all just makes sense. I know not everybody's into timelines and stuff like I am, and everybody has their gift, and I'm telling you, every single one of you has a gift. Use it. Use that gift and do what you need to do, and bring just that one person in. If you have the gift of walking up to strangers, do it. If you have the gift of timelines, do it. If you have the gift of dreams and visions, seeing 1111s, associating numbers from license plates and stuff with things. There's so many wonderful gifts out there. Not one of us can say, your gift isn't as good as mine. I don't believe in dreams. Sorry, but the Bible tells you that there's those old men who will dream dreams and young men who will see visions. It's right there. You know, how about these people that use gematria? It's amazing. We have a guy, I think it's called Dad's Stash in my Discord, which I'll put a link to the Discord, who associate. I can't even follow him. Fibonacci. He does Fibonacci. There's some many wonderful people in there, and we're all just trying to. Gina, she does the news for us, and she finds feathers. There's so many wonderful people in there. I can't even begin to name them all, and I maybe one day should make a list, but I think I'd be here for an hour just listing them all because there's just so many wonderful people that do such great work in the Discord, and I don't have enough time. I wish I had more time to spend in there, but they run it very, very well. They run a tight ship, and so really, really blessed that I have them in there doing the work that they do in the Discord. So I wish I could just reach out and shake you and say, come on, wake up. This is going to happen. This is literally going to happen. You're going to be somewhere in a field grinding, asleep in bed, at work, swimming, going to the bathroom. You're going to be somewhere taking a shower. You're going to be eating somewhere when that trumpet blast goes off, and some of you are going to dive under the table, and some of you are going to look up, and it's going to be the most glorious sound, and it's going to be something that you've been waiting for, and it's going to be awesome on that day. And in an instant, we'll be in brand new bodies, and I won't look like this. Some people have made some really mean comments about my age. Shame on you. You're going to get old too, you know. You're not going to stay young forever. You're going to grow old too. And but you don't bother me. So we're going to wind up in heaven in these young 20-year-old bodies. You know, that guy that made a comment about the way I look, I hope your body's, no, I'm just kidding. Your body's 80 years old. Just kidding. I wouldn't say that up to you. But we wind up in heaven with our glorious bodies and just just perfection in every kind of way. And when you meet Jesus, you're not going to be afraid. He's gonna welcome you, and he's gonna be like an old friend, and you're gonna know. It's just gonna be so perfect, and it's gonna be so powerful, and it's not gonna be, Jesus is like, you're lucky you're here. You're lucky because in the last second I just decided. No, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be like, come here, come here. I've been dying to meet you. I've been dying to see you. Let me give you a hug, and it's gonna be like your old best friend come back. It's gonna be amazing on that day. It's gonna be something else. So, did I say everything? Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Comments, comments. I love the comments. Please keep them coming. I really do enjoy them. Some of you are so much smarter than me, so I'm just kind of like heart, because I don't understand all of it. This is my strength, and you have an amazing strength of your own that you could probably share in the Discord and help others with your strong gift, or your gift. I don't say strong gift, but your gift, and we all have one. If you're looking forward to this day like I am, you have every bit of a powerful gift as any of us do. So, all right. I hope this didn't go that long. I don't like making videos that long, but I guess if I find anything else, I'll bring it to your attention. But I'm amazed every time I come on here and make a video that I'm making one, because I literally, like I said, all watchmen at this point, from what I've seen, are literally stating now. There is nothing left. It's now. There is nothing left to wait for. So I think we're just that one sheep that's out there. He leaves the 99. That's the saint. He goes after that one sheep that's lost his way, and that's us. That's Barabbas. He's coming to get us, and then that's it. Celebration time. So, all right, Repo Man 64. We'll chat with you later.